The first detailed study of the Jewish population in the US was conducted in 1990, and the results were shocking. Everyone was up in arms about the rates of the Jewish assimilation. Outside of the Orthodox community, majority of the Jews had very little involvement in Jewish life, almost no Jewish education, marginal observance of traditions, and placed a very small value on creating a Jewish family. Everyone gasped. What will be with the Jewish nation? We are doomed. The assimilation of the Jews is a very big problem, but it is not a reason to think that our nation is doomed. Unfortunately, we have seen these and even greater levels of assimilation many times. When Jews were in Egypt, they got completely immersed in the culture of the superpower they lived in. When Moses was taking the Jews out of Egypt, only 20% of Jews followed him. That's right, only 1/5. And the rest of the Jews, the 80%, were so absorbed in the Egyptian culture that they did not want to abandon it. We all know that in Russia, the Jews wanted to be more Russian than the Russians. In Germany, the Jews wanted to be more German than the Germans. And in Egypt, the Jews wanted to be more Egyptian than the Egyptians themselves. When the Babylonian exile was over and Ezra HaSofer led the Jews back to land of Israel, only 42,000 Jews followed him. Later, more Jews came to the Holy Land, but even those who came there were very assimilated. And we are already not talking about the Jews who remained in Babylonia. During the times of Hanukkah, majority of the Jews were becoming Hellenists, which means that they were adopting the Greek culture and religion. The Maccabees were a greatly outnumbered minority. And I'm bringing all of these examples from the ancient history without even mentioning more modern assimilation of the Jews. This means that all those who call themselves Jews today are the descendants of only a small percent of the Jews who were in Egypt, and out of them, a small percent of those who remained Jewish in Babylonia, and out of them, a small percent of Jews who did not assimilate into the Greek culture, and so on. We are the oldest existing nation on earth today, and we are an eternal nation. We survived on foreign lands and persevered against all odds. Every Jew was able to be a part of this heroic history. But for that, he had to be willing to be a Jew and stick to the Torah. He had to agree to follow Moses, Ezra, Yehuda HaMaccabee. And the rest of the Jews, unfortunately, the majority, became a part of the local culture and disappeared together with them. Though I have one more very compelling reason not to be alarmed about the statistics of the Jews we see in America. The Torah tells us that when this exile is going to be over, and when we are going to be leaving this exile, going to land of Israel, every single Jew will be a part of it. When we will be building our third temple, no Jew is going to be left behind. Those who call themselves Orthodox and those who call themselves atheists, the most observant Jew and a Jew who never opened a book of Torah in his life will be a part of Jewish history.